Right, get yourself a Christmas card, all the best for Christmas, and then score it out as 10mm squares so you've got a nice pile of tiles. Mark the roof, give it a good sanding first, make sure it's all nice and flush. Then, as I say, you need to prepare the roof now with some double-sided tape. It's quite easily done. Just put it on there, get it nice and level, and then just rub it down like that. Get yourself your knife, gently score it off both sides. Make sure it's on, give it a good old rub down. Then carefully pick off the backing tape. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a bit tricky, but it's worth mucking about with anyway. There you go, there's your stuff on there. Then what I do then is I get a nice, you have to the first one needs to be overhung a little bit, so I've marked a 10mm slot, and that's that. You can always trim it back later on. And then just basically follow the line that you've made. You could do it in one strip, but I find putting them on individually gives you that little bit of individuality, because you can have one crooked and one that's not crooked, a little gap here and a gap there. But it's quite nice putting them on. And as I said, if you have it in 5mm sections, you know that the next one has got to go on the 5mm one. So therefore it gives you the gap. And just keeping it in the light there. It does get pretty quick when you get proficient with it. By keeping that 5mm, it does give it an even texture all the way along there then. And what I do, the edge is quite flimsy obviously because the guttering's got to go on as well, but I find when you put the guttering on underneath, I'll square all those up, and then but you want to see the edge of the gutter in there as well, so it needs to protrude over a little bit there. That's probably a little bit too much, but it's coming on. Double-sided tape is absolutely fantastic stuff. Right, now that's all finished now. We've tidied all the edges up and it's looking good. Now we need to stick it down now. Although we got the double-sided tape on there, you still need a bit of an extra body. So what we got to do is go to your pound shop and buy a cheap old hairspray, and I think these were 2 for £1. They smell sweet as well. So just dice up what you've done and just give it a good old dousing with the old spray, and you'll find, just mop up a bit of the, pretty good stuff this, just move it all in. You'll find that that will dry within seconds. And you've seen what it's done to some of the women's hair, so you you can imagine what it's going to do to the roof. And then it dries to a nice dull finish. You know, it's dry now. So what we do then is mix up some acrylic paint, and then just give it a coat of paint and see what we got at the end of it. Right, we've got some acrylic paint now. It's been dry for about 10 minutes now, so basically we're all ready to go. Some of the tiles lift up, just put some paint underneath. So once it dries 100%, all those loose tiles will be stuck in. Just put some paint underneath them. It's good old stuff, this acrylic stuff. All nasty enamels stink the place out. The only problem you get now when you put the stuff on with hairspray, Madam thinks you've had some sort of tart in here because it smells like a woman's boudoir. But as soon as she sees what you're doing, you should be alright. As you can see, that's all looking a little bit more like a roof now. Sorry I got my hands in the way, but it's pretty hard to do it and film it at the same time. As you say, this is just a quick how-to version. Here's how I did it. I've had quite a few people show a lot of interest on Abbot's Mead. The way that I'm putting things together, which is not costing a great fortune. A lot of it you can do yourself. You don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on machinery and gadgets. Yeah, there's far better people on the RM web that can do far better than what I could ever hope to do, but I'm just trying to show you that with a minimum of well, a little bit of knowledge and a 99% confidence, you can turn out some nice models. Now that's okay, I reckon. When it dries, it will look the part. Always wash your brush out. I always forget to wash my brushes out, and the amount of bloody brushes I've lost in the past just for a couple of seconds of cleaning it up. Of course, the good advantage with acrylics, you just do it with water. Don't have to have the smell of thinners and all the other toxic fumes that comes with enamels. And that's basically it at the moment. I'll show you it later on when it's dry. Well, as you can see, it's dried now. Needs a bit of touching up, but as you can see, I think that's not a bad representation of a roof, and it's cost you nothing. Needs to be a bit tidied up and weathered and all that, but that's basically how you do it. So there you go, get on with some modelling. You'll be surprised what you can do.